What's up? This is Jordan Gray from Half Lit and DopelivenTV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man, Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Trench in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy, Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Greg Gray. It's Dope Living TV Live. Let me start off by saying the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. On time. What's up, Gina?
What's up? I'm so excited for today.
Yeah, man. What up, Mo?
Hey, Mo, what's happening?
Get off that mute button. Get
You're
off that
muted.
Mute button,
It wasn't me this time.
I'm on vacation.
Let's go.
Vacay. My turn in December.
Ha.
Man, look. We got a lot to do tonight, so we, vacation. We talk about that off camera. All right, but anyway, okay. Tonight,
You telling us to shut up?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I can't say it. The Distinguished Authors Guild is coming up November the 10th. Okay, and it's fast approaching. And I'm telling you guys, if you don't get there, you're going to miss it. All right, but as a prelude to the show, we have some of the nominees that are going to be there. Their books are out, and we've read them. And we're ready to say who is not necessarily the best of the best, but who won that night. Okay, Tina, come on, man, come on now.
Man, you know what? I can't wait. I don't even know who the winners are. We're going to first start off with this.
Chicago in Northwest Indiana. Get ready for an epic night to remember. We are honoring the past and awarding the future. The Distinguished Authors Guild presents its 5th annual Literary Award Show and VIP Gala. Sunday, November 10th at Theater 47, 350 Victory Drive in Park Forest, Illinois. Proceeds from ticket sales go towards scholarships for first-year creative writing college students. This is a black tie event. Purchase your tickets now at eventbrite.com, keyword Distinguished Authors Guild. For more information, call 219-742-4305. That's 219-742-4305. And remember, everything that glitters is gold.
All right, we're going to bring on our nominees, and we are so excited to have these 4 beautiful women here today to talk about their books and their backstory. We're going to start with our very own Natalie.
Hey,
Natalie is a 3-time winner, and she is now a nominee for she's going for number 4, y'all. She's going for number 4.
Yes.
And she is author of the romance novel Be Loved by Blue.
To be loved
by Blue. There you go. And I have that in my collection already.
Good.
Welcome, Nat.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Yes.
Hey, Mo.
Then we got another Distinguished Authors Guild winner, 2022, I believe, right, Val?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Valrie Davis. And Val has submitted an awesome children's book. It is, let me get this right. Hold on. What is it, Val? The ABCs.
It's Jamaican Me Say Me ABCs.
Jamaican Me ABCs. And this is the Kamala Harris edition.
Yes, it's commemorative edition. Yes, the commemorative edition.
Yes. And I'm telling you, this came at the right time.
It
came
did.
at
It
the right
did.
time. But we're gonna get into some details because we got to
Yes.
talk about that.
Yes.
Then we also have another 2023 award-winning winner, Dr. Linda Holloway, and she has now submitted new books in the children's category. It is called Little Miss Linda Copes with Divorce and Little Miss Linda Bad Girls of Montgomery. There you go.
The God.
So she's coming for a second time. And I want everybody to know all 5 of her books won last year
Oh
as
wow.
a series. So she's coming hard on you guys with these children's books. Now she's
Come
coming
on
hard
now.
at
Yes.
But we got a newbie in the house. We have author Fredricka Wynn. She has a brand new book out here, and it's titled, let me get it. It's a tongue twister for you. It's a tongue twister. It's titled Little Big Brother and Big Little Brother. There we go. Let's start with you, Nat. Let's talk about your book a little bit.
You say me?
Yes, Natalie.
Oh, okay. So, To Be Loved by Blue is my 7th book. It's the second in a 4-part series, but each book can be read as a standalone. So, To Be Loved by Blue is about Antoinette Tony Kennedy. Her heart has been broken by police officers. She's been disappointed by the police officers in her family. So she seems to be surrounded by these men in blue. But because she's heartbroken by them and disappointed by them, she has shut down her life in terms of love. She is not trying to love, but she has turned to promiscuity, thinking that she's in control of love in her heart. Then she meets Officer Darius Johnson, and he's the newest detective on the Jasperville Police Force. But everything about him is the opposite of what Tony likes. She likes him tall, she likes him chocolate, and she hates cops. He is light-skinned, gray eyes. He's an inch shorter than she is, and he's a cop. But he comes at her with these corny pickup lines, and she can't resist him. And by the time he's a police officer, so he gets caught in an investigation in an illegal dogfighting ring. And by the time Tony admits her feelings for Darius, he's been kidnapped. And she's heartbroken because now she feels like he's in a situation she may never get an opportunity to express her love to him. So from there, you have to read the rest of the book. Oh, yeah.
Already.
Tony and Darius bring the heat for real. I think I got a little further in the heat area in this particular book than I did in the rest of them.
I'm telling y'all, this is a love story, so watch out now. She don't hold
Did you
back.
go, Natalie, did you go soft porn on that? What?
I did not. It's still all in the context of love. It's a love story. You can't have a love story with no love. They don't, all they do is kiss and hold hands. That's not interesting. For me, it's not interesting.
I'm telling you, get the book. Okay, Val, tell us a little bit about your book because, like I said, it's a special edition.
Well, so the first book was published in 2017, Jamaican Me Say Me ABCs. And it was actually written when my daughter was a toddler. Toni Morrison says, if you don't see the book that you want to read, then you write it. And I wrote this book because my baby was a Jamaican, which means that she had an American mom. I come from the South, Florida, and her dad was born in London, but his culture and lineage is Jamaican. And so I didn't really see any books like that to read to my kid. And books were always around me. My mom was an English teacher over 40 years. She was actually the language chairperson of her department, English department. And I was reading very mature books from Y'all, ooh, Iceberg Slim. You talking about Natalie stuff as a kid.
Corn.
Claw. Yes, I was. I was just going through the library, baby. She had it in there, so I was reading it. Claude McKay, Richard Wright, you name it, Maya Angelou. I was reading it all. And so for me, books was a part of my lexicon in terms of my vocabulary being extended. My favorite author to this day, still posthumously, is James Baldwin. My mom had everything that he wrote up until just above my head. I think at that point she wasn't buying them anymore. But I was reading all that. And so books were really important. I wanted my children and this new baby that I had, this Holler, to really know her culture. And I just didn't see it. So I began to write. And part of the courtship with my husband at the time and I was, he really indoctrinated me in the culture by way of music. He would play reggae music and stop it. And then he would tell me what the patois was and what it meant and culturally what it meant, not just the words. And we would talk about food and we would talk about places in Jamaica. And before I ever got there, I felt like I knew a lot about that culture. And he always spoke to me in patois. And when the kids were growing up, he would speak to them between English and patois, but then when they were being disciplined, he would go off in patois. So my kids understood the words, but they don't know how to speak it. But I've already told Grandpa to be, unlike those kids, you will be teaching my grandbaby how to speak patois in patois, not just to understand it. So that being said, I say all to say this. I went through A to Z in typewriting and found a Jamaican artist who's now renowned. He was up and coming, but he's now renowned, to illustrate it because I wanted to be very authentic. It's very colorful and so on and so forth. And in the back, it's a reader's guide. It's a glossary because I always feel like it's not just about your entertainment, but it's edutainment to educate you while I entertain you. And so it breaks down all these different heroes, these icons and so forth. Now let's fast forward. After I wrote the book, we had Jamaica dominate in track and field far as the women's sports. And so I went back in again and I upgraded it. I had already had Usain Bolt in, but then I wanted to add Kamala Harris. So in the front of the book, previously it was just my daughter as a cartoon form. I had her put in, you could definitely tell now I'm an Alpha Kappa Alpha woman. She's an Alpha Kappa Alpha woman. So, I had to have her in green suit and her pearl down and so on and so forth. And it's about her being bicultural. Okay, so let me say this. There's this whole debate, just like this birthing debate about Obama. It's the same thing with her. Is she Black? What is she? She's Southeast Asian and she has a Jamaican father. And if y'all watch the DNC, she spoke about her parents, both of them. She gave homage to both of the cultures. And when Oprah Winfrey talked about her, she said the same thing. And she said, this is the best of America in terms of immigrants and them coming to see their child to propel to the highest office as chief executive officer in the land. Because we know she's gonna win, right? Everybody say right.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Kamala.
But the book is really, thinking about the book, Val, it's really forward thinking because she wasn't running for president when you did the book.
She was vice.
Girl, let me tell you, in my mind, I saw her on the West Wing. So I have her in the West Wing. I got these fine Secret Service officers that they would not have the dreadlocks and be as cool and suave as the ones that are in my book, but they fine, right? And I have Coffee up there, and Coffee was like the youngest Grammy-winning person and female. I think at 19 she got her first Grammy, and she did the song about toasting and all that kind of stuff. And so I have her on the balcony with Coffee, and it's like, we got to be grateful for, look how far we have come.
Yes,
now,
absolutely.
What's important about this book to me, even now in terms of the conversation about, again, what is her heritage and how does she identify herself. So if y'all been listening,
Don't spoil it. We're gonna get back to that. We're
oh,
gonna get into some
okay.
details. Don't spoil it, because I
All
want to give
right.
everybody else a chance to talk about the book. But hold
Yes,
that thought.
ma'am.
We're coming back around. Dr.
Awesome.
Holloway, you have a lot of children's books out there. I mean, this woman, every time I open up Facebook, she is here, there, everywhere, all over Montgomery, Alabama, at universities. She's just doing so much with these wonderful books. Tell us about the two that you just submitted.
Okay, thank you for having me. The two that I submitted, the first one was Little Miss Linda Copes with Divorce. But let me just provide some context. I'm a counselor educator, and so I had written some articles, and from those articles, I really wanted to target children. So one of the ways to speak to children is through books. So what is unique about this is Little Miss Linda noticed that there are some things that are going on with her parents. So in this particular book, it actually deals with the divorce, and divorce can be a very challenging topic to talk about. And so we try to make it as very interactive. So in the book, we hit some hearts where children can find the hearts. We also have what I call LOLs. And LOLs are learning out loud. These are questions that you can actually ask. The children as you go through the book, but they can find the hearts throughout the book. And one of the things they also did was they created different items so that Linda can actually discuss divorce in a very wholesome way, so it wouldn't be very challenging for her. So she was able to they did what they call We Love You jar. And in the We Love You jar, Linda gets to ask her parents different questions like, who would I live with? Because they were once married. So she wanted to know, like, if there's a particular event at school with who is most likely to come and things of that nature. So it's a very, once again, like I said, it's a difficult topic to talk about, but we do know that divorce does happen to children. And we deal with a lot of things when it comes to mental wellness, emotional wellness. And so with that being said, this is a book that will do that. The other book is that it's called Bad Girls of Montgomery. What bad actually stands for something, but Little Miss Linda is originally from an all-black town, and this town is called Mount Bayou. But in this town, this is the first time they're going to teach a class on social justice. So they're taking a road trip, but this is just not any old road trip. They're actually coming to Montgomery, Alabama. And one of the things that the teacher said is she wanted them to do a project. They could do a paper or whatever they wanted to do. So Little Miss Linda focused on the women during that time that participated in the Montgomery Bus Boycott movement that you may not often hear about. They're actually illustrated on the cover here. We all know about Rosa Parks, but there was other women that were also played a very significant role in that. So it teaches the children about that. One of the things that my books do is, once again, we hide different things so the students can find those different things. So there are civil rights things that they actually have to locate throughout the book. They also have LOLs. These, once again, these are learning out loud questions that you can actually ask the student. This one is a little different in the sense that it has a dance. I do have some books, it's called the Montgomery Shuffle. So we teach the kids how to do it and they kind of dance along. Because one of the things when you're interacting with children, you actually want something that's going to be very entertaining and that's going to capture their attention. And one of the things Linda does, Little Miss Linda does when she does her presentation, she always says, "Bad Girls of Montgomery," and she goes, "Beat, beat, beat." But she do want people to know that throughout the world, no matter where you're located, there are bad girls. And bad stands for bold and determined. And because when her father, she was telling him that's what she was going to do a paper on, it was like, bad girls, what are you talking about, Little Miss Linda? And she tells them that's what it is. And this book is really designed to get young children as well as older people to think about who has made a difference in your community. We often think about globally or in our country, but sometimes right there in your community there have been people who have made a difference. And it's also to inspire young children that you can do the same thing, that you can make a difference. You can find a particular thing that of interest, and then you can actually make a difference, whether it's writing a letter to your politician, whether it's getting people to go out to vote. And so we're really excited about Bad Girls of Montgomery. So looking forward to purchasing it.
Little Miss
Man,
Linda getting around,
that's
boy.
history there.
That's
I'm
nice.
telling
Miss
you, every
Linda,
time I look
getting
around,
around.
little Miss Linda is somewhere. She's somewhere. And she's not playing. I mean, those books are really moving around and getting recognized. So kudos to you, Dr. Holloway.
Thank you.
Now, Fredricka, your book is a little bit different.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Tell us
is.
about it.
So, Little Big Brother and Big Little Brother goes into two little boys that are brothers. It talks about their characteristics, their personalities, and things like that. So if you notice, these are my babies. So one of them is a lot older than the bigger one. So the bigger one's the baby, and the older one is the smaller one. So it also narrates around teaching kids, no matter your shapes or sizes, you can do anything that you put your mind to. Because of a lot of our kids around just youth and how they think and how they feel, they get a lot of discouraged with a lot of different things. So I wanted to create something for a lot of brown boys or Black boys to teach them that no matter how they look or how they feel, or whether if they feel like they can do certain things, that they can definitely strive harder and to go harder with different things with how they may feel. And they also have a second series, which is called Little Big Brother and Big Little Brother Goes to School. So they have two books. They have two books.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Man, I can't even imagine how they feel looking at a book and their pictures in there.
Yes. They are really, when I say the books at school and they talk about their books with other kids, it's more so like, I have a book and it's like other kids be inspired by it, wishing that they, had something done like that. So
awesome.
Very inspirational.
Awesome. Wow. So let's go back around to Natalie. Natalie, we're going to talk a little bit more, get a little bit deeper into the sex books that you have.
Wait, why you going to sex books?
Yes.
Gina.
On you, Gina.
Gina, stop it. Those are instructionals.
Let me just ask, how does your family, your friends, how do they feel about you writing these type of romance books?
Everybody's good with it. Like I said, so I was concerned about my mom. She was the first one.
I know you're not gonna write that song.
Right. So, all right, Kathy, I'm gonna need you to back off. That's my sister. She don't
read the book. We know. We read the book.
So the very first one that I wrote, Then Came You. I ran it past my sister, my mom, and I really questioned my mom though. And she said, it's fine. It's in the context of them being in love, loving each other. It's not just raw, raunchy sex, Greg. So my mom said it's fine, and that's what I'm rolling with. It's fine. Now I was concerned about
it's fine.
I was concerned about the church people and how they would react to it. But I didn't get any pushback from that either. And actually, again, what I say is the church is full of people who doing what's in my book, and probably more, Greg. So
Natalie, I haven't said anything, but if you want me to ask questions, is that lotion optional?
See, I finally got you. Usually nail it, Greg, but okay, I'm
so
good
Natalie,
now.
So Natalie, you didn't get the stank lip,
I did not get the stank lip. Actually, believe it, more times than not, I get the question: is there sex in the book?
Oh,
so people want to know because they want to see, they want it. But I do try to taper. I try to make it sexy, but I try not to go over the top.
Okay. Well, it's a part of life.
It is. That's how we all got here. That's how we all came
It might
here.
be an instructional book. That's why her and Pastor Murphy been married for 38 years.
Well, all right.
But Natalie, I see what you're talking about. Seriously, all kidding aside, because you have to give everybody, to reach an audience, you got to have something for everybody.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
I understand that in your particular genre, you've captured a particular audience with your books. All right, so it's more of the adult people, the more people that are more adventurous, I'll call it, amorous. And your books are great. I mean, even
Thank you.
they're great. And see, I was good.
Years in a row.
I
Doing
appreciate it.
something right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get back to you, Val. I want to talk more about your book. I know it's very cultural. You are really doing a lot. You've been over to Jamaica. You even had music.
Yes.
Yes.
So, first, I guess I'm gonna try to see if y'all can see it. There's Kamala,
I see it.
and
Yes.
then there's Stasha. Can you see? That's the one who's getting ready to have my grandbaby. Another generation of multiculturalism.
Very
Right.
cool.
There we go. So, want to clarify something. I wrote the book in 22, or it was published in 22. I wrote it in 21, published in 22, with all the changes and so on and so forth, right? In 2020, she was elected as VP. And my glossary is probably one of the longest set of information about anybody in the book, because this was a commemorative edition. It says at the top, commemorative edition honoring first USA female Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, this is going to be limited. We're going to retire this one because I know she's going to win. So I've already talked to my illustrator that on November 6th, the one that's this president will go for, and this will be obsolete. Because I believe that's strongly that she's going to win. I do.
Boy, it'd be cool if you can get that signed.
Oh yes, absolutely. And I have been listening to some serious conversations. For me, the books that I write deal with us coming through the Middle Passage and being dropped off at different location points. And so a lot of times we feel like it's them and us when it's really us collectively, the blacks and brown. Whether we were dropped off in Brazil, Cuba, Haiti, Jamaica, Bahamas, Bermuda, London, the Americas, we have a commonality in terms of our pain, because when we all went through the door of no return, or we went through different ports and was dropped off, whether it be in South Carolina as a Geechee or Gullah, we still had to get out here and either pick tobacco, pick cotton, do whatever, dye indigo,
Have babies.
have babies, were wet nurses, were raped, the whole bit. It was just that in America, it was very much more strategic in terms of making sure that there was a disconnect with the language and a disconnect with the tribes, more so than you would find in the other Caribbean countries. And I have looked at this, and I really believe that that's why there's so much more trauma in America with us, because we wasn't able to keep a lot of our history, our culture. When we talk about patois, what is that? That is broken English, and that is the remnants of the West African language, whether it's from the Fulani tribe or the Wolof tribe or whatever. And a lot of times when the people are speaking these languages, they don't even know patois, because it's considered English, like ignorant, like African American English. We talk about speaking with American Standard English, and then our stuff is so colorful. You don't want to be in circles where it seems like you're ignorant and you don't know how to command the English language. But privately, we speak and do whatever we do as far as our dialect, whether it's from the DMV and we say things a certain way, or down south, or if we're in the Midwest or the East Coast or the West Coast. It's the same in terms of the Caribbean and different things that got kept in the lexicon. And so that being said, when I started writing these books, it was to say, that there's no shame in our language because it's a language of survival. It shows our creativity. It shows how we're able to fold pieces of our former language into a new language and create something different. But where the great divide is in terms of American slave, in terms of down the road and our legacy versus the Caribbean African, is if you'll notice that sometimes Caribbean people and African people have issues with African Americans because when they come over here, they thrive, and they say, well, why haven't we thrived? Because there were different things done to us in terms of how we were battered psychologically. Our trauma responses were much different because of the things that were really stripped away from us, the basics, that some of the things that they got to hold on to in terms of family that we didn't, even though they were under slavery. You see what I'm saying? So now, if you fast forward this conversation, you got Drake and Lamar, right? And this whole thing about you're different, people are saying they're different from us. Well, are we really different from each other? Because that's what Dr. Michael Eric Dyson has been talking about lately, how divisive that is. When we start talking about they're different from us, or I'm better than you, or I'm more blacker than you. And you might be light-skinned too, and you got gray eyes, or you got light-skinned eyes. Somebody been up in the woodshed with your great-great-grandmother. Calm down. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You don't see it that way. And so there's a division. So here we are, this woman who has a plethora of experiences from having a educated Jamaican father who was a professor at Stanford, a mother who was educated Southeast Asian biologist, scientist, and they met in grad school, married, had 2 girls, and they brought those cultures together. Now in Jamaica, they would call Kamala a coolie because it's very common. The motto there is out of many one. And Southeast Asian girl like her with a Jamaican dad in Jamaica is called a coolie. That's very commonplace. Chinese, Jamaican, that dark-skinned Jamaican, Dutch. You see how the Irish, Jamaica sound like an Irish type of sing. If you hear how it sounds like it has an Irish influence the way they speak. So a lot of Irish people that live in Jamaica. So this girl lived in America, moved to Canada, went to HBCU, went to Cali, had a black man that groomed her. I don't care about her relationship with him or whatever. That's her business. You know what I'm saying? It's between her and God and whoever and her business. But I'm saying to us as we're looking at her and we're like, what is she? What does she identify? She identifies with it all because she has that background. This girl grandmother is chocolate as they come out of Brownstown in a parish in Jamaica, running around with her dark-skinned cousins and stuff like that. When you go to Jamaica, because we got a lot of family in Jamaica, we got a lot of family in Canada, it looks like the United Nations. That's very commonplace. I'm used to that, and that's why I want to have this conversation long time ago when my kids was eating brown stewed chicken and red beans and rice and curry goat, and friends were coming over and their daddy was and giving their friends soursop and cola champagne, which is not alcoholic beverage. What is all this about? They didn't understand that, but as years go by, a lot of people have adopted the culture. Why? Because we embrace the culture. We taught our children the culture. My ex was like, they have to eat their culture, they have to hear their culture, they have to, be enmeshed in it. And
that's kind of what the book does, right? It brings those cultures together. It connects those dots.
It connects.
And it doesn't matter if they're from, Jamaica.
And you know what? It's not really, it's a story that just highlights about Jamaica. But if you look at it, we have a commonality in Puerto Rico. Puerto Ricans and Mexicans have a hard time with each other. Why? I don't know, because both of them got African blood running through their veins. But we don't know our background. And so because we don't know it, we are very divisive with each other. We tear each other down, and then the others look at us in humor because they know our history. We don't know our history. And so I love the fact that Dr. Dyson is really calling Kendrick out and saying, you know, you don't need to be like that. You don't need to move like that. You don't need to put that in the universe like that to come out.
And that's really what we're trying to get away from.
Yes.
I'm going to come over real quick to Dr. Holloway because I have a question for her. I just would really like to know, Dr. Holloway, how does Montgomery, Alabama, how do they embrace your book?
They embrace it very well. Actually, there are several places that actually host the book. Like, I'm really excited about the Legacy Museum actually carries the book. And the Legacy Museum is one of those places where it's an entry point. When people come into the great city of Montgomery, they actually go there because, as she was talking about the various things, this is a museum that actually talk about the legacy of lynching. And so you get people from all over the world. So the book is actually there. It's also at the Rosa Parks Museum. So what I did, because it does have the flavor of the particular city, is to make sure that it was placed in those strategic areas so that it can be received by the various people, not only just here in the city of Montgomery, but those outside of the city of Montgomery. Because like I said, for oftentimes when people hear Montgomery bus boycott movement, they think of only of Rosa Parks, but we know that Joanne Robinson, Susan McDonald's, Carvin, which was only 15 years old, she was actually even before Rosa Parks. So it does highlight and gives a historical. So it's been very well received, to answer your question.
So just like Val's book, which is bringing history, you're bringing history as well.
Absolutely.
So that's history in the making. And that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that our children understand the history and they know the backgrounds. We can't just say you're going to start from 2024. They have to know in order to carry that on to their children and their children and so on and so forth. Now, Fredricka, you take your children with you when you're doing book fairs and different activities. Tell me how do you handle that? Being able to do all of these things because you're doing so much, and still have your children right there.
A lot. Usually with the vending events that we do is more so to have my boys learn how to interact and how to talk in front of other people, getting to know just different other kids, whether they not black, white, different colors. To also just teach them a number of things that can help just throughout just them learning as young boys. But we do a lot. It's not easy as a single mom because I'm also a school bus driver, so I'm working with kids all around doing different things.
Now, most of the time when we have businesses, and a lot of us have businesses, but usually our children don't want to be involved in our businesses. How do you work around that?
It's kind of hard to keep them focused sometimes because a lot of times they goof around and play even when we at some of the vending events. But ultimately, I try to get them to understand, what I'm doing, like how big it is for them. Because not a lot of kids of color have books. So, for me, because of where I come from and my background, I didn't have my mother and father that, did anything for me to have, it's like, look what I got, So it's just more so teaching them like the values of life. And also just, telling them like this is something that I want y'all to have to, pass down, like even when I'm gone, like this is
generational wealth.
Yeah.
Okay. You think they're catching on?
For the most part, I was trying.
They might have a ways to go, but you keep at it, they'll get it.
Yeah. They still young, so it's a lot.
Yeah. Natalie, what number are you going to stop at?
Now,
I'm gonna continue.
As long as God said keep going, I'm going. I'm not going to
Now,
stop.
Gina, you might as well go ahead and post some cement out in front of your house so you can put the stars in the cement.
I'm just saying though,
Yeah,
man.
have a
love
star.
that.
But
I like
Natalie
that.
be the first star in there.
Give
I
somebody
like
else a
that.
chance. Give somebody else a chance. You know, at
That
certain
would be
points
awesome.
in time with these award shows, they look at them and say, "Well, hey, man, he got enough. Let's get somebody else."
You get them if you earn them. You can't just get mad and boot me off the podium.
You putting
You
But
know
see
what?
what happens with Natalie when she gets up there, man? She run like she run up there like it's the Price is Right, man. And then
Look, I know that's a lie because every time I've come up, I've had on heels. I don't run in heels.
and then she get up there all
That's
crying
okay. Run and
stuff,
get
man.
yours, Nat. Go on and run and get it.
She be
All right.
crying and stuff. It's like the first one, okay, I can understand the tears, but the second and third one, come on, man, quit crying.
Really, Greg? Really?
Quit crying.
Yeah,
Quit
really.
crying.
Right. Come on, Negro.
She gotta be crying. But no, you know what?
You know, I have to
say,
ask this question, and I know you get this question, Natalie.
Okay.
Is any of these stories in your books based on real life?
No, it is. They're all fiction. Now, I do get my inspiration from different parts of life, period. Things that have happened in my life, things that have happened in other people's life, things that I witnessed or saw growing up. I mean, I get inspirations from anywhere.
Well,
So
hell,
no,
I got
none of
49
these
more
are
books
true.
for you then. I got
Say it
49
again?
books for you.
No, I don't want your ideas, Greg. I appreciate you. I do. I'm gonna stay in my lane
about
though.
his love life. I'm
gonna stay in my lane. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You be talking about the Pimp Chronicles.
Oh, right.
Oh boy.
Don't give her no ideas.
Yeah, no.
She already know what the book
I
is
don't know
like.
anything about pimps, so I can't write nothing about that.
Rashana
Now,
Gold says,
Dr.
"Oh, I
Holloway.
got a story for Natalie. Get your tissues and popcorn and favorite beverage."
All right, Rashana.
Dr. Holloway, do you plan on moving out of children's books and into another genre?
Yes. I actually, there's another area I'm very interested in, and that's Black women in therapy. So there would be what you call low content books, maybe looking at some workshop books as they deal with Black women in therapy. So from that perspective, and also maybe something from a spiritual perspective, you know. So from Christianity. Absolutely.
You better move on it. Don't sit on it. I'm telling you, when God say move, you better move.
That sounds like a whole nother good lane right there.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
She Natalie shaking her head up there. She gonna get off these stories and start Let me go to church and get some research.
That's right. That's right.
Kevin's 8 tears.
But Natalie actually can do that now with her books. She can have workbooks with her romance books, you know. So
Yeah, work that in. That wouldn't be a
You
bad
know
thing.
what, Natalie? That is a good lane too, because people need that. They need education on relationships. They need education on marriages.
Yes.
How to stay together.
I'm working on
And
something in that lane.
okay.
She already in there.
You know, people don't want to go to therapy. They don't want to go to counseling, but maybe they'll read a book.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it is. I do have some ideas on the burner right now.
Val, I know you have a lot of things swirling in your head. We talk all the time, and I know you got a lot of things that are on the burner that's coming out. There's some things that came out. Talk about what you're doing.
So we just had our Boule, Alpha Kappa Alpha had our Boule, and they put a clarion call out for writers to be involved in a inspirational, meditational book. And I submitted and I was selected. So it just got the grand debut. It's called Leaves of Wisdom. I'm very excited about that. And y'all know we 360,000 strong across the globe. So this book is going to go everywhere. And for me to be solidified in our history and in this year where, we have a potential president, and I know I keep talking about it, but I'm very proud of that. I wouldn't matter to me. It wouldn't matter to me if I had never been a part of a sorority or anything like that. It's just that the woman is a woman of color, and to be associated with this sorority and being, we have done a lot of firsts, and this would be one of the greatest firsts. I'm just excited that she appeared at the Boulé. I'm excited that the book, it carries one of my pieces in this anthology, and that's exciting. I have been trying to get a book called Hopped on Pops published through traditional means, and I'm getting very discouraged, but my daughter keeps saying, "Hold on, Mom. I have a literary
Better
agent."
hold on.
She's like, "Hold on." And so I'm just trying to see if the world is going to change, but it's written from the perspective that children who have to look at the news, hear their mother and fathers cry, know that their brothers was killed, their cousins was gunned down, Sonia Massey who got mental health issues, with a pot of water that she put down, and rebuking, using godly sacred words, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, still was killed. Or, it's just, we continue to see it over and over again. And then there is a difference on how we are considered to protest versus them. So when they did what they did on January 6th, we said it was an insurrection. They said it was a protest. When we protest, it looks like to them a riot and insurrection, and we get gunned down. So there's inconsistency on how we label what we do with each other. That being said, the back of the book is my daughter as a child with her father sitting there in fear, watching on the TV them storming the Capitol. And throughout the book, it's all these different scenarios that might be loosely based on actual cases or not. And it's very clever. And what I did was took Dr. Seuss. I'm a very big fan of Dr. Seuss. I love rhythmic cadence. And that he had a book called Hop on Pop. Well, I took it and put it Hopped on Pops. And it's the book that help you have the talk. Because it's a very hard talk that we parents have to do with our children in terms of how you decorum, how you should conduct yourself, how you come home safely. And sometimes that doesn't work. And so I know that they have post-traumatic stress disorder, looking at all this stuff, hearing all this stuff, going to the
They don't
funerals.
realize that.
Yeah, they
Don't
do.
realize it. They
Parents
think
have
because
it.
they're children
Yeah.
that they're sponges and it's going to bounce up off them, but they don't
Yeah.
realize that this does affect children's mental.
It
And
does.
that's why they act out the way they do. That's
That's
why
it.
they have, the issues that they have is
Mhm.
because of that, the PTSD.
Yes.
But I want to real quick talk to, these subjects. We at one point, this is why I love to honor our authors of the past, because they have opened doors that we would have never been able to enter. We talk here about children's books that go into deep subjects that would, in our homes growing up, you didn't talk about these things. But now we have books out here that address these issues.
Yeah.
And this is why Distinguished Authors Guild does what it does. But then we have books like Fredricka's book, which is very light, entertaining. Is it any books that you would write differently? Do you plan on writing something different than children's books, or going any deeper than just entertaining, Fredricka?
Yes. I thought about doing something around what kids handle like their feelings, like, you know, emotions and things like that, because kids are not really good with expressing themselves. So I definitely want to do something like that. I had a number of ideas. I have so many ideas. So, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah. So I'm telling you, you guys your books are nominated for a reason, and we don't take it lightly. I wish Marcy was here to tell you, because she's one of the readers and she give the feedback on the books. And you know, when they're nominated because they're great books. There are no errors in the books. They have a cover that attracts the reader, and they have content that keeps the reader engaged. And that's why your books have been nominated. So I want to say congratulations to all of you. You're doing a wonderful job. You know, I appreciate the fact that you continue to open doors and knock down barriers. You guys are the ones who picked up the torch and continue to carry it. So now we're at a point where we go around the room and we want each and every one of you to give our audience something to leave here with. Let's start with you, Natalie.
Okay, so I'm going to piggyback on what you just said about carrying the torch. And for me, carrying the torch means imparting the information that I received as a self-publishing author into other future authors. So I have created a workshop called the From Pen to Publish, the Road to Self-Publishing Workshop. I'm actually going to be hosting it this Saturday virtually. So if you go to my website, netsbooks.net, then you can sign up for this course. And in this course, I will walk you step by step through the process of becoming a self-published author. And currently today, I have 4 authors who have completed the course, who have completed the process, and are now self-published authors, and 2 have been nominated for DAG Awards.
Aww.
So if you are a writer and you want to take it to the next level, do it. I can help you walk through the process.
Wow, that's
awesome. And this was the introvert that didn't want to speak, didn't want to get in front of an audience.
And now look at her. She got 3 little glass awards right next to her, and she got a big old smile talking about some y'all come to me and I can show y'all how to get y'all hand in the cement.
That's right. And it was Gina Gatson that told me to get out there and do it. So yeah, I definitely give you your kudos.
I remember that show. That was a show from way back.
Right.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Come on, Val. You always have some good nuggets to give and some educated nuggets to give. Give us something to leave here with.
So my company is called Caritas Collection. Caritas Collection is a LLC. And I always try to encourage young authors. And as soon as I find one, I send them DAG's way. But I always tell them, make sure that your anything that you write remains relevant and timeless. And so Caritas Collection is like a play on words. Collectively, we carry this. Well, what is this? We carry each other. We carry our culture. We carry good news. We carry a protocol and a proper way to live our lives in terms of honoring ourselves and our ancestors. And the company was named after Michael's grandmother, Aletha Caritas, who stood in the gap when the family was breaking apart. And it was really ugly to salvage those children, which I feel like that legacy has poured down into my ex, my kids, and that's why we do the things that we do. It's down in our DNA. I did a One Love project, a platform based on Jamaican Misemi ABCs. I took it back to Jamaica and met with the educator over there where we did a platform of Phoebe culture to say to the kids, it's okay to appreciate other people's culture, but don't assimilate. appreciate but don't assimilate.
Wow.
Because your culture is so beautiful. It's everybody's running behind you and what you do, and you don't even appreciate things in your backyard. So if I had any words of encouragement, I would say to all the authors to make sure that anything that you do remains relevant, and it's all in looking at what are the needs today. What can I do to build on what I have inside of my book as a platform so that it always be timely, have relevance? Because I'll say this and I'll close. If you look at some of the stuff that James Baldwin spoke about years ago, you can go on YouTube. His writings, his words were impactful, they're elegant, and because of where we're living and the things that we are challenged with, they still resonate today. Right like that, right beyond your own lifespan, right as if you know that you're going to be a part of history, that when you leave here, you have left something like a temple of familiar. And that's what I have.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
cool.
Words to live by. Words to live by.
Thank
you for that, Val. What you have for us, Dr. Holloway?
I have just, I want to just encourage people, finish what you started. I know that sounds really simple, but a lot of people say, hey, I want to be an author. I have an idea, but just kind of getting started and finishing what you started, but also believe in yourself. And what I mean by that, believe in what you're willing to write about, because if you don't believe in it, it's going to be hard for you to sell that to someone else. And so you got to believe in what you are, what your product is, and look at it as a product that you actually are putting out there and that you're putting out for excellence, and be willing to have some kind of budget, be willing to invest in yourself, get a good illustrator, editor, someone to read over it, and enter the various contests, particularly DAG. You're going to have other people that are out there, and you're going to be thinking, well, that sounds really, really good, because I'm listening to them. I'm like, man, they wrote some really good stuff. But just know that there's room at the table for your voice, and there's also room for you to enter the room. And so don't get discouraged. So I would say again, finish what you started, believe in your product, sell it like it's the last thing that you can ever sell. It's the best product that you're going to put out on the market. And also there is room for you at the table.
All right.
Ooh, that's what's up, man. Y'all better rewind and listen to this again.
Yep.
I'm telling you, these ladies dropping so many nuggets. I want another hour. Okay, we can't do another hour, but I want one. What do you have for us, author Fredricka?
I'll just say this, I'm gonna keep it real simple, but be the change you want to receive. I'm big on purpose. I'm big on just finding your purpose, because at the end of the day, if you ain't doing it for nobody else, do it for yourself, especially our youth.
Amen.
Short and simple, but strong.
Yes.
Real strong.
Yep.
What do you want to leave us with, Mo?
Man, this has been an awesome panel. I can't wait till tomorrow. Shoot. Just to be real, everybody, Valrie, of course, I know I see her on the internet all the time. She on Hustle Up all the time, her and her daughter. And I like the education in your message.
Thank you.
Fredricka, I haven't had a chance to read any of your stuff. Same thing with you, Miss Wynn, but I'm listening to the messages you guys are putting out there. It's the same thing. We got to make sure that we do what we say we're going to do. And, you got to follow up. We don't have no problem going around trying to get the latest, greatest shoes, and we'll break necks, work 50 hours a week to get those shoes. You know what I'm saying? If it's something you really, really want, and you want to be an author, then get out there and do that breakneck thing with that. That's my 20 cents.
Say it, Mo. Man, I just want to say that I had an awesome time tonight with these wonderful Distinguished Authors Guild nominees. Go out, purchase their books. To Be Loved by Blue by Natalie Murphy. Little Miss Linda Copes with Divorce. Little Miss Linda, Bad Girls of Montgomery by Dr. Linda Holloway. Little Big Brother and Big Little Brother by Fredricka Wynn, and Jamaican Me ABCs, the limited edition with Vice President Kamala Harris,
Yes.
by Valrie Davis. Go out, purchase these books. Support these authors. Come out to the Distinguished Authors Guild. We'll be at Theater 47 on November, what day? November 9th. Or November 10th. I'll be there on the wrong day. Theater 47. Come out, support them. A portion of the proceeds from your tickets goes towards the scholarship. So not only are you supporting these authors here, but you're also supporting college students who are in the writing field. Come on out, be a part of this. It is going to be an epic night.
Yeah, man. Look, it has been a pleasure sitting with you guys. You guys are amazing. I don't have too much to say because we don't have a lot of time. But keep doing what you're doing because you're taking us out of reality. Sometimes we need to get out of reality. Read a book, everybody. Distinguished Authors Guild. Yep, that's my cue. November 10th.
They rang.
Kevin Murphy says, if you're not following Dope Living Live, DAG, and these authors, please follow them. Please follow them, okay? But if you're not following Dope Living Live, DAG, something wrong with you, all right? This is Dope Living TV Live. Thank you, ladies, for coming on.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow with some more, all right? So
yes, more nominees tomorrow.
Get your rest, all right? It should be interesting, all right? We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
All right. Peace.
Peace.